With Blue Jays closer, Casey Janssen. Casey, it's been so great. The results have been so great for you since you've taken over that closer role for the Blue Jays. Has anything changed for you mentality-wise when you know that you're going to come into a close game in the ninth inning?
I'm trying not to have anything change. I'm trying to treat it just like any inning that I've pitched before in my career. But I am enjoying it. I'm having a good time with it. And just a little bit more of the certainty of knowing when you're going in has been a nice transition, that's for sure.
A lot of closers have kind of their own personal look. They have their own style. You kind of have your own style on the mound. You do a lot of herky-jerky stuff before you actually deliver the pitch. Is that something, I don't know, did you do that when you were a starter? Is it something that you feel like, is it a mental thing? How does that help you when you do that stuff before you deliver the pitch?
I just kind of use the mentality of taking the fight to the hitter. And if you're doing it for 7 innings, it's a heck of a lot harder than for 1. So I just use every ounce of energy I have for that given night, and I use it, and hopefully it's a quick outing, and then I get out there and get ready for tomorrow.
They've been quick outings way more often than not. I mean, you got 10 save situations that you've been in. You've given up 2 hits in those 10 save situations, and I think 7 of them have been 3 up, 3 down innings. Does that surprise you that it's been so efficient since that change happened?
I haven't really noticed, to be honest. Sometimes the situations maybe present itself where a team might have to take a pitch early, and so you want to try and attack the zone as best you can. But more than anything, the first out of every inning is always important, regardless of what inning you're pitching in. And I've just kind of used that approach. And after you get the first one, then you try and work on the next 2.
As someone who's done both, started and worked in relief, there's been so much talk about Ricky's struggles. Ricky Romero is the ace of this rotation, but he's having a hard time. And what John Farrell has said is that the best way to succeed as a pitcher is to be in a complete state of mindlessness. You can't allow any thoughts to creep in. How do you do that?
Well, I mean, the mind is probably your best or worst weapon in this sport. And you just try and clear your head when you're not going good, and use it to your advantage when you're feeling really well. Ricky's going to be fine. He's way too talented not to be, and everybody kind of goes through these roller coasters, and it's just a matter of how fast you can get out of him. But I think he's going to be fine. He's going to get back and be the ace that we all know he is.
Casey, the efficiency has been great for you, as Mike mentioned, since you've entered that closer's role. Also, I mean, just throwing strikes, not walking people. It's so important for a closer to not, let that leadoff base runner reach via walk or allow any walks when you're talking about such a tight lead. Is that something that you've even focused on more on now that you're a reliever and in that role, or is it something that you've always thought about? And how important is it as a reliever to throw strikes?
Well, I do give up my hits, and so I kind of came under the mentality that if I don't walk anybody, then they have to put a few hits together to score a run. But when you start, walking guys, giving up free bases, your defense has no opportunity to work, and so I've tried to stick with that as best I can. And there's also situations in games where a walk isn't necessarily the end of the world too, and thank goodness so far that hasn't been the case for me.
Let's get on to the important stuff now, because very rarely, Casey, do Lakers fans have anything in common with Raptors fans. But this week they do, because they both lost out on Steve Nash. The Lakers were working on a sign and trade, and the Suns didn't want to trade him within to those rivals. So you finally get to commiserate a little bit with Raptors fans. How does it feel for you guys?
Well, I definitely have an eye on the basketball free agency and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel for them. The Raptors are seeming to make some noise. I don't know if it's all going to work out for them, but I know they're in on a lot of guys. And of course, my Lakers, they're going to do something. They got to try and get back in their winning ways.
Quickly, one last thing, Casey. When you look at the Steve Nash situation, it's not exactly his hometown here, Toronto, but he's a Canadian, and I guess it would be a homecoming of sorts, and long way for you to go when you get to free agency, and obviously Blue Jays would love to have you here forever, but do you ever think about what kind of pressure that would put players under, playing in front of their home crowd, returning to their home city?
I think, personally, Steve Nash, he's so good, I don't think anything phases him. He seems like, he's playing a man amongst boys at times. But, I think it would be great for him to come back here, have the Canadian fan base embrace him, and, there'll definitely be a lot of talk about him in this city.
Thanks a lot, Casey.